Okay, I wanted to do a quick video about volume and how I use it in my E-mini trading. And I have to start this video by saying I believe volume is the most underutilized technical analysis tool out there. I've got plenty of theories as to why that is, and I'm not going to go into them in this video, but for me, I use volume as a confirming indicator. It helps me distinguish between high probability setups and turning points and whipsaw trades that you inevitably get in any kind of rule-based trading. Now I've pulled up a chart here of the E-mini. This is the 233 tick bar chart of the E-mini continuous contract using, this is TradeStation, my trading platform. The indicator I've plotted on here is my indicator I call better volume, because it's a volume histogram, as you can see below, with a couple of changes which I believe make it a better volume indicator. And it works particularly well on tick bar charts, so if you're a day trader you might be interested in looking at this. Now, the better volume indicator down at the bottom, as I said, is the regular histogram, and most bars here are painted blue, this kind of cyan color that TradeStation uses. Several other bars are picked out of here, and they're colored differently, as well as a moving average, this red line being placed on here. Let me just go through quickly what each of these bars are. The first color is these red color bars, and these are volume climax bars. These are where the volume and the range of that bar is particularly high. In fact, it's the highest in the last 20 bars look back. So you can see these red bars here, 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 and here, and they're showing basically a range bar environment where the volume and the range is very large. You tend to find these at the beginning of uptrends, at the end of uptrends, and in continuation patterns in downtrends. Now the other color I've got here is green, and you can see there are several bars there that are green, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those indicate high churn bars, and this is where the volume is high but the range of the bar is low. And what's that's showing is that the market is finding it difficult to progress in a particular direction. So as the volume gets added into the market, it gets absorbed by extra buyers or extra sellers. So I call that churning over, and they're all painted green. Again, the green bars tend to happen at the beginning of uptrends, at the end of uptrends, and in the continuation of a downtrend. Sometimes you get bars that are both climax bars and high churn bars, and there's actually none of these in this frame here, but when they do occur, and they're fairly rare, I paint them magenta using this particular indicator. Okay, then the last two are the white and the yellow bars. The white bar here is showing a low churn bar, and this, if a high churn bar is where there is a large amount of volume and a low range, a low churn bar is when there is a low volume but high range. You tend to get those at bottoms and at tops and at continuations of uptrends. And then lastly, we've got these little yellow bars, and these are low volume bars. They happen to be low volume bars where they're the lowest volume bar in the last 20 bars, and they're not low churn bars. And again, they tend to happen in similar places to the low churn bars. So that's the indicators. I do an additional thing on my charts, is I add these range bars onto my chart, and they're painted as paint bars here in red, so you can see these. These are where the climax bars in red are actually on the chart, and so you can see where they are more visually. High volume is really important to understand where that happens in a trend, whether it's at the beginning of a trend, at the end of a trend, and so on. Now on this chart, I haven't particularly pulled out anything special. I've just taken this sequence that we've got going from basically high to low in a series of cycles going along here. I'm going to show you some patterns that repeat over and over again. I'm going to show you three particular topping patterns, three particular bottoming patterns, and two continuation patterns. So let me go through the topping patterns first. The first one up here is a climax bar followed by a high churn bar that you can see down here, and this is one of the most frequent patterns that you'll see in tops. And basically what we're seeing is there's been an exhaustion move in terms of range and volume, followed by very little progress in terms of the range of the bar, but high turnover in terms of volume. And the extra buyers that have come in to buy this breakout are being met by, in this case, probably professional sellers coming in that are selling that new high, and the result is a low range bar but high volume. So we get a climax bar followed by a high churn bar. Sometimes they're separated by a couple of bars, cyan, blue bars in between, but oftentimes they'll appear together, and that's a typical kind of topping pattern here, and that was followed by a decline. Now, if we go along to this pattern here, they can also occur in reverse. You can get a high churn bar at the top of the move followed by a climax bar there. So that's green followed by red, and that's what happened up here. So we had churning going into that high, so as the market tried to push higher, it was finding it difficult to move further and further, and then we get a blow off move where there's kind of additional volume and range, and then that's followed by a collapse. So that's the second topping pattern that occurs again over and over again. And then the third pattern is in the middle here. What we can see around here, if you go down to the better volume indicator, you see we've got a low churn bar followed by a low volume bar. Both of those bars, whether they're occurring together or separated or one or the other, happen frequently at tops. And what that means is, as the market tries to push higher, it's met by no additional demand. So we've got a fall off in demand, whether it's kind of low volume and not being able to push the range, and the range is actually quite high, but we're not being able to be met by additional buying volume, or we get just a very small amount of buying going on. Now, most of these topping moves are then followed by low churn bars as the start of the downtrend. So if I put my cursor on there, you can see this bar was kind of a confirming indicator for me that downtrend has started, that we're kind of moving down because we've moved into this environment where there's not a great deal of buying happening, and there's not much volume to support that large move down. If we see at the top of this bar move here, again on that bar there, we actually have low churn happening, and that's kind of the signal, confirming signal that downtrend is actually taking place. So there's three topping moves.